Welcome to Spill the Tea Tuesday. Today I have with me Carla
Hello.
and Miss Say.
Hi.
So we're kind of just going through some random questions that people have asked us, and I'm just going to throw out one. Have you ever refused a tip? Have you guys ever refused a tip? Or like, oh no, no, you shouldn't have, or no.
Um,
So
yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Oh, uh, so for me, I haven't refused one, but I've had a client who hasn't had any tip money,
Uh-huh.
and be like, oh my god, I'll get you next time, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, for sure,
Like, no
I don't know if
worries.
that's refusing a
Um,
tip, but
no. I mean, there. When I was in beauty school, there
mhm.
was this guy that was going into the salon next door to the beauty school, and he was getting his eyebrows done. And I don't know what happened, but that place ended up just closing. Like they just put a lock on the door one day. They had a whole bunch of people walking up to that door all day. They had appointments scheduled, but for whatever reason, like it got shut down, locked up. So I was sitting like out on the curb, my broke ass eating like bologna sandwich just like on my break. And I was like, well, I can do your eyebrows. And he's like, huh? And he like looks up at the building and sees it's a school. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I got you. I got you. So he comes in and the eyebrows there were like $5. It was like cheapest beauty school prices, right?
Mhm.
So he comes in, I do his eyebrows. He loves them. And he's like, okay, I'll be back in like 2 weeks. I'm like, sweet. So he became almost like a regular while I was in school. And each time he would leave, he'd leave me like $5, $10, $20. It just kept getting to be more and more in tip. And I didn't know if like I was reading the situation wrong and like maybe there were other ulterior motives. I don't know because we were about the same age. I don't know. But at one point he had a $50 bill and he goes to pull it out of his wallet and I see it. And I'm thinking for these $5 eyebrows, that's getting extreme. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Like in my mind, I didn't want it to make him think that like, oh, now I owe you something. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So he was like, oh, here. And I was like, oh, no, like, no, that's too much. And he's like, okay, and put it right back into his wallet. And I was like, but wait.
No, no,
I'm
no,
like, no,
no.
no, 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 never mind.
I'm
And then,
hungry.
right, I don't want to eat bologna again. That was funny. So I remember learning in that moment, like, never refuse the tip. Just
Yeah.
be like, oh, like, that was too much. Thanks. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you should have. But
That's
yeah,
how we live.
that was a learning. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is how we live, right?
Yeah.
That's like half of our paycheck is our
Yeah.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, always tip your esthetician, but for the estheticians out there, never refuse it.
Yes.
Thinking like, you know. But
Mhm.
anyway, how about you, Miss A?
There's been times where I'm like, oh, thank you. Are you
Yeah,
sure? And then like I get the vibe. They're like, yeah, take it.
yeah.
There's been times where I'm like, I think one lady she tipped me 100, and I was like, oh, thank you.
You're like, was that on purpose?
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm thinking like the rest of the night, I'm like, dang, did she really mean to tip me that much? But I took it.
Yeah, you're like, thanks. I remember I was out with our friend Bree one time. We went to go get massages together,
Mhm.
and I tipped 20%, yeah, as about average, right? And he wasn't even that great. Like I feel like I was getting body slammed left and right. Like I had my face down in the hole, and I feel like my eyes were just going back and forth. Like where is he coming from? In what direction? Because he was like elbow, boom, like right in there, like like it's like probably one of the worst massages I've ever had.
Oh.
But she gets up and she's like stretchy, like, ooh, that was so nice. I'm like, that's great. I'm happy for you. So we go to the front to check out. And I tip 20% anyway because I feel like we're in the industry, like you said, it's how we make our money. So even
Right.
when they're like not very good, I still do 20%. I probably shouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
I did. And she, I think, expected it to cost more, so she just like was like, ah, just keep the change, and it was like I don't know 40 plus. I don't know. It was like a 100% tip basically,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, that's like 100% tip. And she's like, that's cool. I'm like, okay. Because I'm like, I'm not tipping the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, just so you know, I'm not going to give you extra. So we end up leaving, but sometimes tips can be like a little awkward, you know?
Yeah.
Or like if there's a service like, you know, Groupon or something like that where the service gets zeroed out, sometimes it can be kind of hard
Mhm.
to approach like, hey, the service is taken care of, but you still need to tip me. You know?
Yeah.
Like how do you say it?
I don't know. So I feel like Nia's really good at that. Like she'll say, "Oh well, and if you want to tip on on the card, here's the
Here's the terminal.
yeah."
Mhm.
I feel like I do the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, the service is taken care of. If you, and I don't even like ask them, do you want to leave gratuity? I just say, if you want to leave gratuity cash, then we can do that, or we can do card on here. You know,
Right.
like I just give them their options
Yeah.
as if it's already happening.
And you
And
can
then-
tell if they didn't intend to tip because they're like,
Yes.
oh, we could do card.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you catch them off guard.
Yeah.
And then it gets like a awkward hair of a moment, but then it's like their awkwardness, not mine. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
you're in
They
my
feel the
place.
pressure.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
you know what? But I'm okay with it. It's not like we're shaming them or making them like, you know, oh, you
Yeah.
didn't want to tip? You know, like,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
there's the door.
Yeah. But there are people that be like, no.
Yeah, and I have those people too. They like no shame in their game. They're like, I'm here for my, I don't know, class pass or whatever, and I never intended to tip you. But you know
Yeah.
what's interesting about class pass is that they tell their members, like they tell them, you know, ask for a regular price, you can tip off of regular price service. You know, like it's in their thing. So whenever I do get a class pass person that's like, no thanks, you know, I'm just like, okay.
They
And
knew.
yeah, you know that you're supposed to come in here and tip,
yeah.
and you chose not to. That's, I mean, I understand that it's like everyone has their own budget and sometimes it's not in there, but I feel like if you're going to an establishment where tips are part of how they make their living, don't go if you can't tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had clients where they've done like $100+ services and they tipped $2, and it wasn't because it wasn't because I was bad. It was because they felt like they needed to tip something and they didn't have the cash to do
Right.
a full 20%. So it's like I understand it. It's more of like a thank you. And I see you, I appreciate you versus like, you know, anything else, I feel like. So like if you can't afford to tip somebody, I don't feel like you should be getting those kinds of services.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
What about like eating out? Do you guys
I tip.
I tip.
I tip pretty generously.
I have to, yeah.
So do I.
My family is a little cheap with the tips, and I'm like, oh, you have to do at least 20%. You gotta
Yes.
trip in.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom is all like 15%. And I'm like, that
Uh-huh.
was like 10 years ago, Mom. Like 20% is average nowadays.
Mhm.
And she's like, okay, 18. And I'm like, no. Like,
Yeah.
but
Over
she's a pretty good tipper though if they're really good. Like she'll
Okay.
like throw
They're
an
on top
extra
of
with
it.
it. Yeah, if they're
Yeah.
on top of it. And my mom's kind of picky too. Like so if she like sends something back or this that, you know, it's
Right.
like she tips them really well.
Mhm.
You know, especially if they're nice about it. If they're like an a-hole about it, and then she's like, I was gonna tip them nice, but you know, not anymore.
That'll be my dad, but then he'll still tip. Tip well.
I mean, there's only been one time where I went to a restaurant and the service was so bad. And well, actually, I could probably jack it up to that crab place last year when we went as a team.
Oh,
That
yeah.
wasn't that bad.
It was worse than that. Though.
Oh, okay.
So to see how she like left us, she was like MIA for a long time, and then like we got the order all wrong, and then she still didn't come back to check in. Okay, it was worse than that. And I remember writing like a whole paragraph on my receipt. Like I left the person a note, like, you know, like this or that. I've been here many times. Like I'm
Yeah.
a local in the area, and blah 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 blah. I ranted on that receipt, and I still left them like 18-20%.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm only leaving a tip because I work in a tip industry as well, and I know that's how you make your living. I'm like, but if I were another asshole, I would leave you 0.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just so that they go home and like read that, and they're just like, oh man, I need to step up my game.
A little comment card.
Because I think they probably didn't even read it.
Probably not.
They
There's
probably crushed
Like,
it
I
out
was
to
a
do it.
bitch.
Nobody's gonna read this. Get out of
Oh
here.
man, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Darn it. We'll see what this bitch has to say. Nope.
Back in the day, I used to think it was so funny that people used to be like, "I'm gonna write a letter."
That's me. I'm not Karen.
Oh my god,
Oh my
they're just gonna rip
God.
it up as soon as they see the first complaint, you know, like,
Right.
fuck this lady.
Not even look.
That's the
Oh,
only
that's
time
funny.
I ever did it though. And then the one other time I ever wrote a note on a receipt is because I left my number for a guy that was my waiter.
Uh-oh.
Is it Applebee's?
Yeah,
Like he's
Applebee's.
asking the number. Tell me. Thanks for my appetizer. Yeah, we hooked up later.
Nice.
Okay.
I think you told me about that.
Nice.
Check that off my bucket list.
Yes.
Yeah. I've lived life.
Applebee's.
Applebee's later. Check. I've lived life. I can get married now. That's funny.
Next restaurant.
Right. Mercury through. Go to
That's so
Chili's.
funny. Chili's. Chili's, Olive Garden, all the franchise.
Yeah.
Regular places. That's the Chili's guy. That's the Olive Garden guy.
They're on the phone.
That's so funny.
Applebee's.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you've ever had a tip situation, share it with us and we'll talk about it later. Thanks for listening to Spill the Tea Tuesday. Till next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.